Schools nationwide are returning to in-person learning amid the COVID-19 surge. Here in the Coachella Valley, Desert Sands Unified has over 1,300 COVID cases among students and staff. Classes have been back in session for that district since last Monday. Coachella Valley Unified right now reporting 66 COVID cases among students and staff. Palm Springs Unified with 72 cases. Those two districts resumed classes just yesterday. The Palm Springs Unified School District is focused on staying open through the pandemic. News Channel 3's Jeff Stahl spoke today with the superintendent on how he expects this semester to go forward as safely as possible.
Thank you for joining us today here. It must be really nice having students back on campus. I know Desert Sands noted a drop in students back right after the holiday break. Any similarities with Palm Springs Unified?
Well, we are so happy to welcome back our students on campus and our school site staff. Others had been working, but all of our schools opened up yesterday, and it was so great to see our teachers, classified staff, and students back. We did have a slightly lower attendance than what we're accustomed to, but we think that's just a sign of the times right now and people struggling around the health and the pandemic.
Yeah, I imagine it's impacting everybody. I'm sure it's impacting students, their families, and staff as well. Standardized test scores. I read last week that they dropped significantly last year in California during the pandemic when most students were doing that distance learning. What's the strategy now that the second semester is beginning to keep the kids learning, try to catch up for some of that lost ground over the months ahead?
Well, students and young brains are incredibly resilient. So our focus this year has been, because we're so grateful to have them back in person and we want to stay in person, of course, as long as possible. We're just providing the richest educational experience and environment that we can. I'm very confident in our teachers and in our students' ability to catch up or fill out any of the gaps that they might have from that period of distance learning.
Yeah, and studying, the school experience for students, it's not just the academic, but there's that social, emotional. I know that the state superintendent of schools, I think earlier this week, said that he wants to see more state spending on mental health to address the severe trauma that our students have experienced during this pandemic. What have you observed in Palm Springs Unified Schools, and what are you doing to try to address that, take it on head on?
Thank you, Jeff, for asking that question, because that's something that's so very important to us here in Palm Springs. Our school board has always asked us to prioritize both our student and our staff mental health. So Palm Springs has a very robust mental health program. We have licensed therapists that work for our district, and we were providing that service prior to the pandemic. But as you mentioned, all we have to do is ask ourselves how we've experienced the last 18 months and any personal challenges or trauma that we've had, and then multiply those by 20,000 plus students and almost 3,000 staff members. So there's no doubt that our students and families and staff have been deeply affected by the pandemic. So we're making sure that we're pushing out counseling, social emotional learning and lessons in the classroom, and making sure that our families know about resources that are available in mental health. We've hired social workers in the district for the first time, and we're connecting families with their services. So there's definitely a need, but thankfully, again, our board had prioritized that previously, so we were in a good position in terms of staffing.
And if there's a parent out there that's concerned about their child, what's the best number or website for them to go to connect with school district resources in that front?
Yeah, so again, thank you for the opportunity to share this. I always believe that the best means of communication for a family is either at their classroom teacher or their school principal level, because our teachers and principals can make sure that they get connected with the right people here at the district office. If somebody wouldn't like to share that information at the school site, they can always call our district office. We have a student services department that is focused completely on student and family support, and they can help families find the help that they need.
Dr. Mike Sweezy, Palm Springs Unified School District Superintendent, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.